Imagine being the most unpopular, uncharismatic, least sought after kid who barely passes with minimum grades in college. But then imagine if the same kid sits in campus placements or gets a job that is one of the most sexiest jobs in the world from the best companies with the highest paying salaries and pretty much shocks every rank holder that has ever been in the college. In an industry dominated by the Nikes, the Adidases, the Reeboks, and not to forget the Abibases, especially in India. What if I told you that there was a player in the sports apparel business who shows up, gets the least possible marks, but in the end shocks the rank holders? What if I told you that they have such a contrarian approach to their marketing in comparison to our rank holders, to the point that they have managed to shock them and somehow emerge on top? So in this video, we're going to be looking at 4 marketing techniques that Decathlon uses. Marketing techniques that sound very counterintuitive, but they have somehow managed to make it work for them, and perhaps it could work for you too. So without further ado, timestamps on your screen, and let's jump right in. Now, the first thing we need to understand is who does the Decathlon brand speak to? Who is their target audience? And if you look at their motto, it's quite simple: to make sport accessible to as many people as we can. Now, if you read Phil Knight's book, who is the owner of Shoe Dog, he indicates that just when the company was starting to emerge on its feet, it went after celebrity endorsements. Even before Nike was the brand that we know it is today. Now, the same applies to Adidas, the same applies to Puma, and the same applies to Reebok. Now, these are companies that suck you in through celebrities, and as a byproduct of that, emotions, right from the get-go. This is marketing through inspiration, through beautifully crafted commercials with celebrities wearing their products, and essentially creating the feeling of, hey, if Virat Kohli is wearing a Puma, I need to wear a Puma too. But Decathlon plays a much simpler game. They are on record to have made 0 celebrity endorsements to this day. So their marketing, as their motto says, is something along the lines of, hey, forget the second Virat Kohli. Forget you being the second Virat Kohli. You can be the first you, and you can do it at a much cheaper rate. So 0 extra jazz. Just develop the product, market it without any extra fat. Oh, and by the way, if you thought that celebrity endorsements don't work and they don't manage to influence you, you're looking at someone who thought the same. You are looking at someone who was a super fan of many athletes, but just didn't, buy the products that they were endorsing. Until I discovered this UFC fighter, Conor McGregor. Followed him for a few months, quickly became a giant super fan, and before I knew it, now, if you were to run a sports apparel company or any company in general, the general flow of action would be get your raw materials from your vendors, manufacture it or piece it together, work out your profit, work out the costs that you need to cover personally, and then work out a profit margin and then sell it from there. Now, this profit margin, you would look to maximize it because for obvious reasons. Now, if you look at Decathlon, there is something very interesting here. The CEO of Decathlon Australia, Oliver Robinet, is on record to have said, what we do is sell at the lowest price we can. A lot of companies think exactly on the contrary. They want to sell at the highest price they can at the highest margin. We want to sell at the lowest margin we can. Our margin decreases every year, and that's a big topic for us. Sounds very counterintuitive, doesn't it? But after just a little bit of analysis, I was able to finally see why they follow this strategy. Alright, now 2 reasons here. Now, first of all, let's take the cheapest shoe that Decathlon offers, which is $5.99, and let's take the cheapest shoe that Nike offers. Now, how can there be such a huge difference for 2 products that are supposedly in the same league? Sure, there might be a couple of features that benefits Nike, but still, don't you think the margin is very vast? Now, here comes the interesting part. As I mentioned earlier, the pricing strategy of any major league company is cost price plus selling price, which is their profit, cost to cover their production, the amount it took for them to pay that celebrity to endorse the brand. So technically, if you buy a Nike product or any product that endorses a celebrity as its brand ambassador, a chunk of your money is going to the company for their decision to invest in a celebrity. In other words, your money just went into Rafael Nadal's kids' college education. But the Nadal doesn't have kids. Thanks, Pa, for interrupting the video flow. But the point here is, don't you think it's a little bit unfair for you to pay a part of your money for them to invest in a celebrity for their decision? I don't know about you, but that sounds a little bit unfair to me. But in the case of Decathlon, that part goes missing. Since they don't pay for celebrities and they are on record to have 0 celebrity endorsements to this day, that portion that companies use to cover celebrity endorsements, that is automatically erased out, and hence the product have drastically a cheaper value than their competitors. Now, according to Google and Quora, India's income can be classified as this. So if 600 other brands are competing for the 3% and the upper 10% from the 31 middle class income, the market for 92 to 100 million is still wide open with absolutely no players in town. That's who the Decathlon brand speaks to. Again, it just goes to say that you don't have to be super aggressive in targeting the richest of the richest, but I think that in some cases, if you just scale it down a bit and cater to a much affordable audience, then that is a smart way to do business in India especially. Now, I've spoken about this in this video, but I'll attempt to do a better job now. In the movie Papanasam, we see Kamal Haasan manifest a lie about being present at a certain city at a certain date through constant repetition. Repetition to a point where people automatically start associating the date with his presence at the city, even though it was a lie. Now, due to Decathlon's targeted mapping, what they're doing here is not pandering to sports fans in general, which is a very broad spectrum, but giving individual product attention to each sport in specific. Essentially, they're trying to be the bigger fish in smaller ponds. So just like how Kamal Haasan convinced everyone through constant repetition of a specific detail, Decathlon convinces you that, hey, these aren't just shoes, but these are shoes specific for badminton. This isn't just a t-shirt, but this is a t-shirt that is specific for gymming. So the next time when I think of sport, which is a broad term, sure, the big brands are going to come to my mind like the Nikes and the Adidas and the Reeboks. But when I think of a sport in general, which is most often the case, guess who's going to come up in my mind? Now, you might have heard of the phrase, your company is only good as your employees. Just to give you an analogy, if you're interested to code, what you're coding on matters. If you're interested in sales, what you're selling matters. If you're interested in painting, the subject of your painting matters. So it's not just about the course of action, but it's also about what the course of action is based on. And that seems to be one of the secret sauces that Decathlon follows. The key hires of the company, such as the big managers and the decision makers, they are people who have an infectious amount of love for sports, and only if you are a genuine fan of sport will you get hired in the company irrespective of your role. So you might be a salesperson, you might be a marketing person, you might be a technical person, you might be a designer. Even though if your skills are up to the level and if you're not that into sports, then the company is not going to hire you. So it's not just about the action, but it's also about what the action is based on. And that to me is a very important characteristic in the process of hiring. An intrinsic love for the domain first and then the roles later. So those were my thoughts on a company that I am a loyal customer to, I guess. And if this brought any value to you, please do consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.